Hey guys, welcome back. In my last episode, we talked about the chest and different exercises you can do to grow them. In case you missed it, you click on this right here. It'll take you through the anatomy of the chest, and then I've also got this video right here. It takes you through all my favorite exercises. So that's a big one. If you missed it, I highly recommend you watch this. Right click it, open a new tab. You'll be in good business. So today we're going to talk about the shoulders. Now the shoulders are kind of similar to the chest in that they're made up of three major components. So let's just kick it off right at the start. You got your anterior deltoid, right? So that's this right here. Next up, you've got your lateral deltoid. That's going to be that right there. And then you've got your posterior deltoid. That's right there. And this is the one nobody works out. So stay tuned and I'll help you guys out with that. So the purpose of the shoulder is really to complement the chest. If we remember the chest, gets us to go out like that. Well, the shoulder is going to help us go up like this. Now, there's a lot of different ways that can happen. Now, the shoulder is one of the few parts of the body, except for the hips, that is a ball and socket, which means you've got 360 movement in your shoulders. So that means that all three of these deltoid muscles are working in tandem to get your shoulders up and above. Just to hit the real basics, your anterior deltoid is going to be responsible for raising things in front and above your body in a motion like that. The side delts, or the lateral deltoid, is going to be for lateral movements like that. You can go up to parallel or even up here. This is all lateral deltoids. Now the posterior deltoids, if you remember our chest makes you extend right here, the posterior deltoid is going to be getting the shoulders to move back like that. Like hit the wall. So let me scoot over here. So it's going like that. I want to think about how we can combo this up so that we're working all of the different muscle groups. When you're working on the shoulders, in my opinion, it's best to focus on one deltoid muscle at a time. Now, unlike the chest, where the chest is just a pectoralis major, the deltoids are actually three completely separate muscles. So if you're going to be working the anterior deltoids, in some cases, you won't be working the posterior or the lateral head whatsoever. This is especially true with the posterior. Now, a lot of people have underdeveloped posterior shoulders, which is going to keep them from having that three-dimensional boulder look that is so aesthetic and was what so many guys are trying to get. The laterals, they get worked a little bit, but most people that are just starting out, just hitting the anterior deltoid, and that's it. If you're only hitting a third of the muscles, you're only going to get a third of the progress, and you're never going to have that truly three-dimensional boulder shoulders unless you hit all three. So let's kick things off with the anterior deltoid. This is going to be responsible for getting things in front and above your body. So the one easy thing that we can think of here would be shoulder presses. Now, we're not just limited to shoulder presses. You could also do, I gotta turn myself, front raises. If your arms are straight, there's a good chance you're working the shoulders. But even if you do tuck those elbows in, even a movement like this is still hitting the shoulders. So all you really want to do is make sure, if you want to work the anterior deltoid, that you're in front of the body and moving in a vertical movement. And that's going to hit your anterior deltoids. Now let's talk about the laterals. So the lateral deltoid is going to be anything that abducts from the body. So we're talking about moving from a neutral position away. So there's really only one exercise that hits this, and that's going to be the lateral raises. Now, if you remember, the anterior is all about going in front, and the lateral is all about going to the side. Where did the posterior come in? Well, that's a good question, and I'm going to tell you. When you're already out like this, the posterior is going to be responsible for adducting. That means bringing towards the body the arms. So in some cases, you can move it laterally across like this. You can bring it down. It's all about getting your hand position back to the body. So whether you're going like this or going like that, you're going to be working the posterior deltoids. And in the next video, I'll show you 2 exercises that you can do that are really going to hit these hard. It's going to be incredible. So Why is it important that we hit all three? Well, if you're only going to do the anterior deltoids The laterals and the posteriors will be underdeveloped. Why do we want to hit all three heads? Well, there's more than just aesthetic reasons, all right? There's actually some safety concerns. If you're only hitting the anterior deltoids, a lot of people suffer from shoulder injuries, and that's because they're neglecting one or more muscles of the deltoid complex, leading into imbalances. If you want to fix these and you want to be a well-rounded athlete and safe, you want to be making sure you're training all three deltoids equally. So why is it a good thing to train all three muscle groups? Well, it's beyond just aesthetics. If we think about it, the shoulder being a ball and socket joint means that you can move the arm in all directions. But if you're undertrained in the posterior deltoid or undertrained in the lateral deltoid, you could run the risk of getting a lot of different types of shoulder injuries. And this is especially troublesome for people that do long distance cardio sports like swimming or running, where they're getting a lot of that forward activation, right? So they're getting a lot of anterior, they're getting very little posterior, and in some cases no lateral at all. Well, if we train all three of these, then we can be more well-rounded. The posterior is going to help pull the posture back so that not only are you more upright, but you're also not going to be overexerting your anterior deltoids, leading to tendon tears and things like that. So beyond just aesthetics, having a trained posterior deltoid and lateral is going to give you a lot more arm mobility, and it's going to make you a lot safer, especially when your arms are in awkward positions that you're not normally used to being in. Having a strong posterior deltoid and lateral deltoid goes a long way at preventing injuries. So I really recommend training all three, even if you're not that interested in aesthetics, for pure skeletal safety, your body's health. I really recommend doing all three. Alright, so we just covered off the deltoids. Remember, we've got the anterior deltoid, lateral deltoid, and the posterior deltoid. In our next video, I'm going to take you through my favorite exercises, and there'll be a demo on how to do each of them. And as always, I hope you guys like this video. You can check out my chest video and all the exercises. I'll post up the clickable links for that. And there's also going to be the clickable link for the shoulder exercises. So definitely check that out. You're not going to want to miss it. And as always, if you like this video, give it a like. Please give me a subscription. It really helps grow the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.